But let's see what we got underneath here. This ought to be pretty interesting. Yep. Corn. This whole edge. This is just body filler, and that's what the window was sitting in. Hey guys, welcome back. Here's our next episode on the next 1967 GTO. So far, I guess you could say so far so good, but there's still a long road ahead. What you're seeing now is the quarter panels. I just got them mocked in place. They're pretty close for reproduction pieces. I will say the door gap, everything seems to be pretty good. I'm going to have a bit of time getting these wheelhouses to fit, like I mentioned in the other video. They're just not right, so I'm going to have to modify them a bit. But it goes up against the sail panel pretty good. It goes up to the door. We got a nice gap up there. I took a measurement from that corner all the way across to that corner and then measured the trunk lid. And I've just got the factory tail panel mocked in place, but the trunk lid, it's going to give us a 3/16 gap on each side, so that's pretty good. So kudos to the reproduction market for giving what seems like a piece that's going to work for us, at least as far as the quarters go. Same deal this side. Quarter goes on pretty good, but the wheelhouse is going to need a bunch of work. And in the other area that I wanted to talk about, I know I mentioned in one of the other videos about saving the braces. Down here, there's some of the braces. This brace here will end up getting put into the quarter panel. This goes behind here against the quarter panel. So when I'm ready to put this all together, I'll weld this to the quarter panel. It just kind of tucks back in here and goes up in there, and you weld it all up. So we'll get that on there. It goes up behind the quarter panel up inside. Like I said, lines up pretty good with the factory seam on the roof. Hopefully there's not too much tweaking in this area across, and that's where we are now. What we run into, besides, like I mentioned about the trunk pan being wrong, the trunk pan is not correct from here back. So I'm going to have to save, which is sitting there on the floor. We're going to use that. We're going to take off part of this new pan and put that on there. And after taking this panel apart, I'm pretty sure we're going to be replacing this taillight panel. It's just it can be fixed, and I would love to fix it. But, you know, budget-wise, that's a big bill to give to the customer. There would be a lot of money wrapped up in this. So I got a new one on order. We're going to see how well it fits. Hey, if it turns out that the new one is absolute junk and it won't fit the car, then I will have to fix this one. Over here, we're working on the rear deck filler panel and the steel package tray that sits underneath. I've just cut this off. I'm going to lift it up here and show you what I'm pretty sure I'm going to see under here is, I wouldn't be surprised if there's mouse droppings in here. I wouldn't be surprised if there's newspaper shoved in here, because you can see all the BONDO. They recreated this bottom edge. This is for the rear window. They recreated that with steel and BONDO, and it's just an absolute mess. So I haven't picked it up yet. That's going to be interesting. But what we have here is on the GTOs, and here's another issue that there's nothing you can do about, because the aftermarket, it just is what it is, and they do not make the panel. This is the rear package tray panel. It's the complete panel all the way back, and that edge right back here is where your weather strip sits. This is sitting upside down. It's too short, and it's too short because this piece is made for a Chevelle, and they do not make a piece for a 66, 67 GTO. So you have to modify. I've got to either lengthen this piece or rob from Peter to pay Paul. I think what I'm going to end up doing is taking some of this and a good usable portion of that and making the two of them work together, kind of like what we're doing on the trunk floor over there. But got no choice. That rear filler panel was a mess. It's just got BONDO all over the place, and I do have a brand new panel for here. And you can see the mess on the floor. The pile is just getting bigger. Floor is all a mess. But let's see what we got underneath here. This ought to be pretty interesting. It's kind of like an archaeological dig. So let's lift this up. If we can get this up and not drop the camera, and hey, look at that. Let me get this out of the way. Yep. Corn. We have corn and newspaper. And a piece of steel that was shoved in here to do something. This is not supposed to be here, but yeah, that's corn. That's corn, and that is a newspaper. You know, hey, when you can't get your Bondo to stop falling through all the huge holes, I mean, just look at it all. Look at the metal they made. Look at all the holes with the Bondo sticking through. But you know, when you got a really big hole and you can't get the Bondo to stay, you just shove some newspaper in there and that'll do the trick. But I wonder if we can get this out of here and see. Nah, it's too far gone. I was wondering if we could see what the date was on this newspaper. Yeah, here you go. This is not unusual at all to find stuff like this inside of a car. I've had people tell me in the business that they've seen rocker panels made out of chicken wire, screen material, and body filler. Whole rocker panels made out of that stuff. So I know I say it a lot. Nothing surprises me. There's always something new. This is really nothing new. It's kind of expected. But you can just take a look. This whole edge. This is just body filler, and that's what the window was sitting in. And I'm sure it was leaking like crazy. So what we're going to do is we're going to have to use a portion of this and a portion of that and make the two work, because what we have is a 5-inch difference. This panel here is 5 inches longer from the window back than this panel over here. Somewhere, somehow, we're going to make up the difference. That will be trashed. We've got a brand new panel. Back over to the car. I'll show you the door gap, and like I said, I think it's pretty good for pre-fit on a reproduction panel. You know, if the camera can pick it up or not. For a pre-fit on a repop panel, that's a pretty darn good gap. And the door opens and closes really well. It lines up with the inner quarter. It's really nice to see that the aftermarket seems to be, at least in some instances, making things better. I know when I bought these quarter panels, I think at the time, after all the vendors I spoke with, finding full quarters for a GTO, for a 66, 67 GTO, at the time I was trying to find these was like trying to find hen's teeth. The Le Mans has gills in it. The GTO, this is specific. And at the time I was told, I believe I got the last two in the country a couple years ago. And, you know, pretty good piece. This side, pretty much the same. We'll close the door here and you can see. For, you know, this isn't even welded on. This is just pre-fit with some Clecos and some screws. It's not bad. It's not bad at all. It's a little big, but that can be adjusted. So that's kind of where we're at. Got a bunch of work to do. That filler panel has to go in here. I've got to get it all mocked in place so that I can put the trunk lid on and make sure that the trunk lid fits in the opening. And as I mentioned in one of the previous videos, I'm just going to be putting parts on, taking them off, marking things, putting them on, taking them off. The endless monotony of putting panels on and taking them off, and I won't weld the thing until I'm completely happy with every single joint, gap, seam, measurements, all of it. Then I'll start welding, and hopefully nothing moves. And that's another thing you guys keep in mind. You got to move around when you're welding, because if you just start welding in one spot and keep going, even doing plug welds, panels are going to move. The heat makes things move, so move around. So we're going to end this one now. Just wanted to give you a quick update where we're at. I'm going to get on to those panels over there and try to make one good panel out of two, one good and one old. As always, like, subscribe, questions, comments. If you guys want to know what part numbers I used for these panels, I'd be more than happy to share that with you. So we'll see you guys.